Hey everyone, welcome back to the B-Movie Bunker. Today we're looking at 2013's Blue Ruin, brought to us by Jeremy Saulnier. What we have is the story of kind of quiet and outsider Dwight, who finds out that the man who he believes murdered his parents is being released from prison, which then sparks his kind of road to revenge. Now, what I really like about this movie is this is not your typical revenge type movie, and this isn't really that spoilery. But if you really want to go in fresh, don't listen to what I'm saying. But Dwight is not your typical, he's not your action hero type. He's not, Mel Gibson getting payback or something like that. He's a coward, and he's a scared man, and he's not a very strong man, and he has his flaws and his faults. But he also has this, he's never been able to let go of what happened to his parents, and it's been his weight on him since that happened. And hearing this man's been released from prison, it sparks something in him that makes him want to get this revenge. But again, still, as I said, he's not, he's not some big hulking brute. He's not some, former, Navy SEAL or anything like that. He's not, he doesn't have a certain set of skills that make, none of that stuff. This is just about a normal, everyday type of guy who, who's broken. He is a broken man and has been since his parents were killed. And I love this movie for what it does with the character. You have an interesting character that you don't normally see in this type of movie. And I was having a discussion about this, and someone was talking about the various plot twists. I'm like, I don't think there's a plot twist. I think there's a big difference between a twist and just development of the story. I think the plot develops in a pretty natural way, and I like the way that the plot develops and the way the story develops. You don't... you do get to see a little bit of growth of the character of Dwight, but for the most part, he's still that guy who won't let go of the past, and he's still a coward, but he's so hell bent on revenge that he can overcome his cowardice to a degree to do what needs to be done. I think the cinematography for this was absolutely beautiful. I love. So many of the shots are just fantastic. And like I said, the acting, I think the acting is what really sells this, because this is a character story. This is the character, this is the story of Dwight. And I think it's just a fantastic little story. And it's definitely not what you normally get from a revenge type film. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's kind of like, it almost feels like kind of like a No Country for Old Men meets Falling Down type of thing. It's that you have this everyday kind of guy who who was pushed too far, and he's going up against people who are technically more brutal, more savage, more I don't even know what the proper term would be, but just meaner than he is, and he has to overcome those odds. And will he overcome those odds? So, and that's what I like about this one. It is more of an everyman type of story to a degree. I mean, there's still issues that one could raise about different levels of plausibility for stuff, but you know what? I don't care. That didn't weigh on me while I was watching the movie. I watched the movie and I felt this is just a really good character-driven story, which is what we don't get a lot of these days. We rely too much upon twists and too much upon effects and too much upon badass fight scenes. And I'm not against any of those things, but it's nice to have the option to have something else. And this is what Blue Ruin gives us. It gives us something else in, a non-stop line of Mel Gibson, Liam Neeson, Jason Statham go out and beat up the bad guys because they wronged you in some way type of flick. So that's all I've got for this one. Till next time, stay safe out there in the wasteland, folks.